The following program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.
Welcome to our 47th season of Mosaic. I'm your host, Susan Shulman Pertnoy. Mosaic is Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine, exploring the most critical issues facing Jews here and around the world. The horrific attacks on October 7th, 2023 changed mental health across the globe. Tragically, more terrorist attacks have followed on multiple continents, and the shockwaves are still being felt in Israel and here in the Palm Beaches. We'll explore where we are and how we can help today on Mosaic.
Since October 7th, we have seen our community come together in ways we could not have anticipated. And that's what led to the Activating Jewish Life movement. The Activate Jewish Life movement is a first of its kind, intends to connect with families with children, to connect with teens, to connect with young adults, and ensure that they always feel as though they're part of something larger than themselves, being part of a larger Jewish community. It's such a unique opportunity to be able to launch a bold initiative just like this. The Activate Jewish Life movement is going to be a game changer. However people want to engage with Jewish life, we want to make sure that we are providing them with an opportunity to engage in ways that have relevance and meaning for them. Thanks to our partners in the Jewish community and our Federation agencies, what an opportunity we have to change the face of Jewish life.
Did you know that you can now enjoy Mosaic on the go? Listen to the Mosaic podcast by scanning the QR code on the screen or find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Welcome back. We know that mental health is one of the most critical issues facing our community, both here at home and for our family in Israel. Joining us today to discuss this is Chief Clinical and Impact Officer Elaine Rotenberg, Dr. Elaine Rotenberg from Alpert Jewish Family Services. Welcome back to Mosaic, Elaine. It's always a privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you, Susan. You know, I love being here. I love having conversation with you.
So do I. Alpert Jewish Family Services, as I said, is the leader in mental health care in our community. Can you give us a snapshot of what's going on right now?
Sure. First of all, in terms of the agency, Alpert Jewish Family Service is the human service agency that really serves the general community and the Jewish community. And
that's important to state.
Yeah, and people don't always realize that. And the extensive nature of our mental health services include child psychiatry, adult psychiatry, adult mental health, youth mental health, any type of emotional issue under that families are dealing with, if they're looking for a mental health professional, can be seen through at Alpert Jewish Family Service.
Has there been a shift in the types of need that you're seeing there, or the volume of people requesting?
It's service? A great question, because one of the things that is happening universally is that we know that people are focused more on mental health right now. And we've sort of recognized that people are requesting services more and more. We are seeing that at Jewish Family Service, and we're seeing different kinds of things that people are asking for help with. We're actually having people who are talking about some of the anxieties that are related to the fact that they are Jewish and what is happening in the bigger, broader world that they're reacting to.
Federation launched a program called the Fund for Mental Health to specifically address mental health issues.
Yeah.
And tell us how that has changed your life, actually.
It's changed our life. It's actually a game changer, because what happened is about 2 years ago, I think we're going to be entering our third year now, some amazing philanthropists in our community decided to create a specific fund so that no Jewish family would be financially limited in terms of receiving mental health counseling, receiving psychiatry services.
It's remarkable.
It is remarkable. And so what that has done is it's lowered the bar for people being able to get help. It has helped us tremendously in terms of people who might otherwise have a particular issue that they're dealing with and can't find a provider in the community that they can work with. And to be able to truly say that we are not ever having to turn away a Jewish person, a Jewish household who needs mental health services.
It takes such a pressure off of the patient too, or the client, as you.
It does.
Yeah.
It's just changed. It's changed the volume that we can see. It's changed how we can, when we talk to people in the community, to let them know you have a resource right here in our Jewish community, supported by, Federation and the amazing people that are contributing to this fund, and it's an ongoing need. It helps reduce our waiting list so that people can get in quicker.
It's really something wonderful.
Yeah.
Talk about the stigma and fighting the stigma of mental health, surrounding mental health.
So there's good news and bad news. Which do you want first?
Always the good news.
Always the good news. So the good news is that we really believe that the stigma is decreasing, that people are much more likely to talk about mental health. It's almost become, I don't want to say it's become like a fad, but people talk about mental health. Do you know that in 2026, for people's New Year's resolutions, taking care of mental health is one of the top 3 New Year's resolutions. There's physical fitness, I think there's finances, I think is the other one, and the third one is paying attention to mental health. So the good news is that people are more aware of mental health as an issue. The bad news is that we don't always have either the ability for somebody to afford those services. The other issue is there's really a shortage of qualified mental health professionals. And so that's another piece of, it's like we've created awareness, but there's always another side to awareness. Now you're asking for those services, and you need to make sure those services are available.
Right.
So, that's why a lot of people don't necessarily think of, when they say, I want to see a therapist, my child needs to see a psychiatrist, people don't always think, let me call Jewish Family Service. And I really need them to know that that is something available to our community.
Sure. In terms of the local community, talk about the demographic of your clients. Are you seeing an increase in children or young families or young adults or senior citizens?
Yes.
To everybody.
Yes, to everybody. Yes to everybody, because what we're seeing in our community, which is really has shifted things, is that because of the influx of people that have moved here, clearly we're now much more a year-round, less seasonal community. We're a younger community, but at the same time, our seniors are continuing to be seniors, and that every part of our demographic is kind of exploding right now. And so we're needing to take care of all sides of the coin in a way that we really have always done, but I think the number of kids, young families, and those issues that we get are comparable to what we might be seeing in terms of our older adults.
So what you're also indicating is that with this increase in population and people coming, you really do need more service care providers. And
yes. And the other challenge we have is that people are struggling financially. And we may have an influx in population, but it is getting increasingly more expensive, more difficult to manage finances living in Palm Beach County. And so we are, at the same time, there's an influx of, wealth there's also an increase in the number of people here who are just getting by. So, that's an important piece too, is to understand that we have a large demographic. We may have more than, I think it was Federation's recent study, the most recent study, we talked about the number of people in our Jewish community that are just getting by. So those people who are just getting by financially might need assistance from our food pantry.
Right.
And we don't even think about that. And people who need some type of financial assistance often are struggling with an emotional issue.
Well, they go hand in hand.
Often.
Yes.
Right. It's not causal, but it is, happens
Stress.
together. It's a stressor. And so that's why I think the thing that is most important for me in terms of understanding the work that we do at Jewish Family Service is that anything can be a point of entry. A person isn't just their one issue. If somebody is having a hard time with X, it's our responsibility to really, if we're doing a good job, it's not just to give somebody a phone number where they can get help, it's really to understand.
So it's like a holistic approach.
It is. And so, we have more than 24 programs and services. So if somebody's calling, they're speaking to a master's level professional who's not just giving them a phone number, who's doing an assessment, and who's going to hear, well, they've recently had a loss in their family, but they also are struggling with a grandchild issue, or they're struggling because they have an adult family member with a disability, and what are the stressors leads to a lot of different answers, and it's our job to sort of help put a roadmap together for somebody.
It's really quite a remarkable agency.
It is.
We're going to continue this conversation, but we have to take our first commercial break.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after this brief message. Next, we'll talk about mental health in Israel and how we can make a difference from right here in the Palm Beaches.
If you want to make a difference in the lives of people, there's no better place to be engaged, involved, and give than the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.
And being a part of our collective efforts, we are able to strengthen Jewish life, care for those people in need, care for the people of Israel, and confront anti-Semitism and acts of hatred against the Jewish community.
This is just the beginning. We can build this community even bigger and better.
Together, we can look to a very, very bright future.
Now is the time. Come and try something that you've never tried before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join us, because the mission of the Federation has never been more critical than it is today.
We're so proud to celebrate our community visionaries, donors who contribute $1 million or more, serving as an inspiration for all of Jewish Palm Beach. Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Dr. Elaine Rotenberg, and joining us now is Beth Wayne, who's a member of Federation's Board of Directors and is also serving as the chair of their Israel and Overseas Committee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Beth, you recently returned from a trip to Israel, and it's one thing to hear about the trauma that was caused since October 7th, but it's another thing to be on the ground and see and feel it. So can you tell us about your experience and what you learned from that?
Well, I think first, everybody who lives in Israel has experienced trauma in different forms, but they all are living and have been living in trauma for 2 years. It's not just a moment in time or one incident that is traumatic. They have been living in trauma for 2 years. And the one thing I can say is their resilience is astounding. And when you when you're with them, you can feel their heartbreak, but also they're just so joyous and just want to keep living.
Yes, and their determination to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's true. You know, we recently interviewed a group of Israelis from our partnership region that were here visiting, and I think I would like to show a clip of what they had to say.
Great.
So let's watch.
We as a society are really looking at our kids and hoping that they'll be, that strong and take us to the future as strong young adults, and that's really where we are. And obviously, as you said, the Federation and mental health is a real area that we're focusing on now.
We're tough.
You are tough. You are tough,
but there is a limit to that as well.
It's our responsibility to help you as much as possible because you're tough, you're resilient, but we're your family and we're here to help.
And it's help. And we have a lot of mission come from Palm Beach to Israel. It was for me the first time I stepped out from my house on December 9, 2023. It was the first time I just go somewhere with the mission camp from Palm Beach. We try. It's give us a real hug, a human hug, and it's very helping.
Is there ongoing mental health programs that Federation is assisting with now, and how do we expand that? Is that what you want us to do, or in what ways?
So Mashabim, the Community Stress Prevention Center that are based up in Kiryat Shmona in the northern Galilee, they really provide a lot of mental health services to the region, but it's not enough. And we need to sort of look at ways to expand their services so that a child doesn't have to wait 8 months for a session with a therapist, and they can have family sessions and group sessions. And we're looking at that at the moment. We're trying to work out how we can be most impactful in that area.
I think the vision in this time, after the war, hopefully after, is to create a big therapeutic center that can give services in all kinds of therapeutic methods, like if it is forgiveness or therapeutic writing or hydrotherapy, and the people need it.
That was very powerful. Do you have any comments on or reactions to what we just heard?
Yeah, I do actually. I love the word resilience, and I am aware of the fact that we often now try to pair that with the word trauma, and it's very relevant to our community as well, because what people have experienced in Israel, and that kind of trauma is shared by our long distance families,
Absolutely.
And when people talk about trauma, oftentimes they'll talk about like post-traumatic stress. And when you add resilience to it, there's this concept called post-traumatic growth. And I prefer that because there are takeaways from this in terms of people's individual coping styles that they can take moving forward, because this experience has changed everyone's life for at least a decade, which is
right,
what he was saying on the...
Yeah, wow.
A whole generation. This is a generational change.
Absolutely. Beth, your Israel and Overseas Committee is tasked with such a difficult job of deciding which funds should go to which programs. So can you tell us where you've allocated funds right now for these programs, and which programs?
Sure. So mental health is actually one of the 3 pillars that we really use to make decisions on our allocating funds in Israel and overseas. So mental health really is a priority not only here in our community but globally, and that's something we take really seriously. As Lior had mentioned in the segment, that we are going to be partnering with Mashabim in the Sahar region, and we are looking to open a resiliency center there. So we have allocated funds to be able to move forward with that project. We have allocated funds to help soldiers and their families We're also, the funds we've allocated for several different kibbutzim as they're returning back and really focusing on the mental health for the members, as they return back to a very traumatic place and really can, feel a little bit more centered there. And we're also supporting veterans as well. One of the places that I really hold a little close to my heart, because when we visited, is a horse therapy farm for youth. And that really helps them focus on mental health in a way that kind of separates them from their normal everyday life. It helps teach them responsibility, builds their confidence, and really gets them out of that bubble of, trauma, and gives them a place to escape. And so that's another allocation that we've made, and just, it's such a wonderful, wonderful place.
That sounds like a wonderful place. Elaine, do we have something like that here?
I am not aware of that, but it's just sounds like a marvelous. We have various types of equine therapy, a lot with people with disabilities. We have some of that in our community here, but specifically focused on the trauma and related to the war. That's beautiful. I mean, to be able to, when you talk, Beth, and I one of you said a few minutes ago, just, this is like, we're all family, we're all connected.
Right.
And so it's like, these are, I smile because these are our kids over there. And in terms of the mental health needs that we're paying attention to in Israel, post-war, one of the underspoken areas has been the impact on marriages, because not just the kids, but these marriages are really struggling as well. So
yes.
So having that comprehensive center in the North is going to be vital, really vital.
Beth, you're a mother of teenagers, and apropos to the fact that there's a lot of trauma in Israel and how that has manifested itself in the United States now with antisemitism, have your kids experienced any issues?
So first I want to say, at home we really try and focus on the joy of Judaism. There's a lot of bad going on in the world right now. It is really hard for Jews globally, but we really try and stay focused on the joy. But actually, just recently, my son had an incident in school where there was someone who said Jews suck, and I hate Jews. And that, I don't think my son was really prepared to handle it. He didn't say anything to the teacher in the moment, because I think he was really taken back and not really sure how to handle that. When he got home, we had conversations. Obviously, I reached out to the teacher and the administration, but it's really scary that things like that are said in such a nonchalant. I honestly think it was a teaching moment for the child who said that. I don't know that he really realized the ramifications. And when I spoke to the school, I said this is a teaching moment, and but it was also a teaching moment for us at home.
But do you need the tools for the teaching moment?
Absolutely.
And I think
so.
Elaine,
We did reach out for the school portion. I actually gave them the resources to reach out to the Palm Beach County School District, because they do have someone there that can help them with the resources of handling that at school. And then at home, we had these conversations about, these are big feelings, and also you have to be able to stand up for yourself, maybe not in that moment, but to a teacher in that moment,
Right. Elaine, tell us what JFS is doing for this issue.
We're very fortunate. We applied for and received funding from the Center to Combat Hate and Antisemitism to expand our Relationships and Decisions Team Trainer Program, which we've been doing for 20 years. And that is a program in which we recruit Jewish teen leaders who learn about particular topic areas, and they teach other kids in the Jewish and general community. And through that recent funding, we've added an entire section of that program focused specifically on anti-Semitism. And so these kids have learned about some of the ways to recognize what is anti-Semitism, how to respond to it, how to connect that to issues in bullying and relationships and self-esteem and mental health. And so this year we already have 15 teen trainers, and they have taught, we just started this the beginning of this school year, and they've already talked to 90 kids as young as middle schoolers. And it's really fabulous. So like if there are schools, I'm thinking, where do your kids go to school, right? Because our teen trainers are available to like go to the public schools and to have these conversations. And we're measuring so that we know kind of pre and post what they're learning. And we have amazing results already that show that the kids, whereas at the beginning less than half of these kids could recognize if something is anti-Semitic or how to respond to it, 100% of the kids afterwards feel that they have new tools to learn.
You know, our Center to Combat Anti-Semitism and Hate is a wonderful part of our federation.
Yes.
And it would be a terrific thing if you could make a presentation and share the results of what their funding did for you.
I would love to do that. In fact, we'd love to have our teen trainers come and they could talk specifically
I think
about
that would be terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one last question for both of you. So for viewers who are watching and maybe struggling with issues, what would you suggest to them?
Please pick up the phone. Please know that you are not alone in whatever your big feeling is or your challenges that you're dealing with, and that there is no shame of not even knowing what you're asking for. You just have to know if you're listening to your kishkas and you're feeling like something's not quite right, you're struggling with functioning or relationships or feeling sad or anxious or can't quite manage the way you used to, then pick up the phone, call one phone number, 684-1991, and we will have somebody speak to you and help figure out what the next step is that might be helpful for you.
Beth, do you have any thoughts on what to tell some parents?
I think parenting is hard right now, and the world is really hard and scary, and I think just knowing that you have resources and to use them. I think we all need to use every resource that we have to help raise amazing humans right now.
Susan, I love that you just said that. I get kind of emotional hearing that because I love having this partnership with Federation because we are all in this family and this broader Jewish family together, and we are not alone. I mean, we have the resources.
We do.
And we just, having this conversation, having you here, Beth, is just another opportunity for us to say, you guys aren't alone.
On that note, I have to say thank you so much for this stimulating conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
This program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.